you should be a monster. You should be ruthlessly ambitious and then learn how to control it. And it's that old expression, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener out
YouTube, welcome back. Dane here. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is why I gave up alcohol at the age of 44 years old, before I turned 45. So last year I gave it up, and a lot of people have asked me a lot of questions around it. So today I want to address why I gave it up. If it was difficult, I'll answer some of those questions, and most importantly, what was the why and the how of why I gave it up. Here's why I gave it up. Well, because I was training all the time, and the training, I started tracking myself on the training. I got a Whoop. When I trained, I would notice, I would track my habits. And when I tracked my habits, I included drinking alcohol. And when I drank alcohol, I noticed my habits slip. Number one, I also checked the box that I ate sugar that night. Boom, I also checked the box that I ate off my diet. Boom, I also checked the box that I didn't train as efficiently the next day, and most of the time I didn't train. And then I would look at the data, the sleep data. The data was terrible. I would get terrible recoveries. My HRV would completely tank. And so I started to see this over time. As I was continuing in my journey, I was still drinking alcohol, all the way up until 3 years almost, right? But it was a slow tail off, right? I was drinking maybe twice Friday and Saturday, and then it went to 1 day a week, and then it went to only this type of alcohol, and then it went to just, 2 ounces of tequila twice, and then it went to one of those, and then eventually none. So it wasn't this drastic cold turkey, but I noticed by doing it that way slowly, I'm saving you guys a lot of time. If I could do it over again, I would have did it sooner. And that's because I didn't need to waste that much time. I was just living kind of lukewarm, and I knew it for a long time that I was living lukewarm, and that habit really wasn't serving me. And I kept trying to get to this next version of myself and physically changing, but I was holding on to this habit, and I knew that this habit needed to go. And so that's why I slowly started cutting the rope. I didn't want to be an outcast because my wife still had a glass of wine, and I wanted to be able to enjoy that because I was so disciplined in the other areas. So I felt, well, people at the family who are already now breaking my chops about being so, strict with my diet and my discipline. Now I'm going to tell them I don't drink alcohol. There's those fears of that, right? But eventually, what ends up happening is those people that you worry about having a comment or two, those people that we worry about, as we start to get a little bit better, we lose that weight, all those people say, oh, you look too skinny, or you're healthy, or you're sick. All those people that give you those initial comments, really you're getting those because they see that you're separating. And they see that those decisions that you're making, they're not making. So as you're slowly separating from them, they're getting insecure in themselves. So that's why those comments come. Now those comments will continue to come if you don't look the part. And if you're being healthy and you're restricting yourself at certain times, but you still don't look the part, in their mind, they're like, well, what the hell's it for? He's doing all this restrictive eating, he never enjoys the cake, he never enjoys the beer, but he looks like everybody else. And that is a problem, right? So how you get around that is you continue to stay the course, you continue to get more disciplined, you tighten up the reins in your life. When you drop alcohol, you're telling yourself, I've committed to you, I love you. And when you commit to yourself, what ends up happening is you start turning it up in all these other areas. You stop living lukewarm everywhere else. That alcohol was like, damn, that was easy. So I'm going to make a decision for my health like I just did with the alcohol. And then you make another one, and you make another one. And then you start stringing these decisions along that are better for your health. All from taking the alcohol out. So when I took the alcohol out, yes, my health and my physique got better. Even though I was only drinking that 1 day a week, it still makes a difference. Now, for me, it made a difference just because I didn't want to be off 1 day. I didn't want to have bad sleep 1 day a week. It wasn't worth it for me. And as I aged, every time I drank, the sleep quality was just terrible. And I don't like that. I'm just not a good dude if I don't get the right sleep. So And sleep was important. I had kids, and I said, well, what am I doing here? So the decision was slowly making this decision was being made for me somewhat, right? As I was pushing forward to try to make it happen. So to get to the point, here was the action. The one thing, the identity that I made for myself and a statement that I said that changed everything, and completely, I never touched a drink again. I made a statement with my son. I said, I'm going to have a margarita. But in the back of my mind, I knew, why are you doing it again? Why are you having another drink, right? Like, you said you weren't going to do it. You trained your ass off all week. Like, this isn't the reward your body's looking for. And I knew that. So my son said, Dad, what's a tequila? And I said, well, it's a form of alcohol. And I explained, a margarita is a form of alcohol, but it's an adult beverage. I said, but bodybuilders don't drink alcohol because it doesn't build muscle. And then he said, oh, great. And then he said, so you're not going to get one? And I was like, no, I'm not going to get one. So I didn't get one that day. And I thought, wow, that was powerful. Now I can't get one. But then there were times in the future where I said, I'm going to have a tequila tonight. And my son would say, Dad, bodybuilders don't drink alcohol. And man, it still chokes me up. It would remind me that, damn, he's right. Like this, I got to remember why I'm doing this. And it chokes me up, dude. So anyway, that was a big sticking point for me, for a habit that I held on to for too long. And it wasn't serving me, and it hadn't served me for many years, and I wasn't addicted, and I didn't use it as a crutch, but it was there, and it wasn't advancing me, and it was allowing me to hold on to this other identity. And shit, as a dad, I wanted a new identity. I wanted my son to have an identity. I wanted my son to see a different identity for me. So that was what it was about. It was about going and creating this new identity that didn't have these other associations. It didn't have these other habits that may have made these mistakes, but this new person made different decisions and had a different presence and had a different energy and a different attitude and a different perspective on things. And I just wanted all of that. Right? Because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired with some of my own thoughts and some of my own decision making and some of just the way that I spoke to myself in self-love. And the alcohol had something to do with that. I knew it did. So by making that association of bodybuilders don't drink alcohol, and then also saying in front of my son, and by the grace of God, he recognized the importance of it, and he's held me. He has held me to that to this day. Still to this day, I'll make a joke because I love Mexican restaurants. It's my favorite thing in the world. Whenever I get a cheap meal, that's kind of what I prefer to do. And I'll still be like, man, let's get all hyped up. Let's go have a tequila and a beer. And, they'll both say it now. Both of my kids. And so, yeah, that keeps me straight. And it keeps me from really ever considering it. So it hasn't been hard. It's been easy because the anchor and the why are so deep. And that, I think, is so important for individuals to get to a place to where you have these habits that don't serve you anymore and you want to get rid of them, whether it's alcohol or it's drugs or it's something else. You've got to recognize and attach that this doesn't serve the person I'm trying to become. Therefore, we got to start making those difficult decisions. And training is one of those things that I found that kept me busy, that kept me committed to my new version, that kept me constantly out of the present and into the association of the new person. So every day I stayed in that place of the next meal was building me one step closer to this next body. And this meal was fueling my next good thought or my next business idea. So the macros in the training are more than just macros in training, guys. It's more than just, getting a meal plan and doing a training. But when you really look at the importance of why you have macros and how they're customized for you to optimize your life, not only change your body composition, but optimize your life. And when you put all that together and then you put all your intensity into a very specific training plan, you don't want to fuck it up with alcohol. Why do all that to then pour in a neurotoxin and just completely stop the production and the recovery of all that muscle building that you've been working on, that fat burning? So when I put that together long enough, man, it was it. It was like, I'm done with this. I choose myself. I choose my health. I choose my body. And so that became an easy decision for me, and it mainly became a lot easier is because I had my shit together with my macros and my training, and that had so much momentum in my life that this alcohol habit that had been stringing along for 25 years, it was like, we're done. There's no need. And social outings are easy. People look at me and they're more curious, like, you walk in a room fit and physique, guys, it raises the vibration of the room. People are super curious about you. You go ahead and pick up a fucking drink and you start sipping it. You just leveled yourself back down to that room. So you got to decide who you want to be. If you're watching this channel, you're probably not an average dude. You probably don't think average. You never saw yourself average, but you're probably living in an average or below average body. So you got to decide, I have to put that first. I've got to get that shit right. And that requires a little bit of direction, some guidance, a little bit of accountability, and a plan, right, to make it happen. And then the habits start falling off. But you got to get the momentum with the training and the nutrition. So if this resonates with you boys, if you've dropped that alcohol before, I'd love to know in the comments how you did it, how long you've been running without alcohol, and how it's changed your life. And if you haven't, and you need to get yourself right, man, let's jump on a call. I can talk to you for 15 minutes, book a free strategy session. I love chatting with guys that are not just interested. I'm not looking for people that are interested in changing their life. I'm looking for people that are committed to changing their life. That's the difference. If you're committed to changing your life, within 3 months, we will completely change your life. There's no question about it. So if you want to learn how, or if it's a good fit, just click the link below, book a call. Let's jump on a quick 15-minute chat. No pressure. We'll chat about where you're at, where you're trying to go, and if I can help you, brother, we will talk about a plan. All right, hopefully that helps. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. The channel is growing every month, and I love seeing it. Help me continue to serve you guys at a higher level. I'm out.